Okay. Hello. Give me a sec. I am very messy right now, but let me put on my musica first, okay? Thank you for checking in, Zaya 36. Okay, there's my playlist. Hello everyone. My name is Tamashi 33, and all I gotta say is Tama Days. Yes, that is my catchphrase. Did not ask. I'm a grumpy Latina VTuber who lives in Japan. I am a political commentator and variety streamer who tries to stream 4 times a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are political commentary, while the rest of those days are variety streaming. And today is political commentary. And as you can see here, ta-da! The UK blocks visit by pro-Palestinian US streamer Hasan Piker is right. It's true. It's true. Unfortunately, the whole ass United Kingdom ended up banning Hasan Piker from entering the country. And we're just gonna reflect on that and basically, yeah, you know, kind of realize how fucked we are, chat. As a society, we're pretty much fucked. We're like, this shit is concerning, okay? And I really want to talk about it. But before I do, let me say hello to everyone here. Let's see. So, oh my god, hello Cynthia, congrats on being first. Congratulations. Hello, not Nola, thank you for being second. And Zaya 36, thank you for being third. How is there already a ad break again? What the hell? That's not fair. I thought it already started. Huh. Okay. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's start talking already about it. Let me look at my notes first. However, yeah, there we go. So last week, and I believe it was May 31st, last week Hasan Piker and his uncle Cenk Uygur, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Hello NHK, thank you for checking in 21 times. Thank you very much. They were both banned from the United Kingdom because of their criticism of Israel. Now, it's very hypocritical because there's many war criminals or, you know, people who are obviously pro-Palestine, not pro-Palestine, my bad, pro-Israel, that get to spread their propaganda as they please wherever they want to. Yet somehow, for some reason, and we all know that reason, but for some reason, people who criticize genocide are always the ones getting pushed out. And now we're definitely in an era where fascism is overtaking Western powers again. It's kind of fucking scary because at the end of the day, Hasan Piker is a streamer. Number one, he's a streamer first and always, okay? But they're treating him like he's a war criminal, basically. And the only reason why is because he's pro-Palestinian. Now, let's look in more detail of what happened by looking at this CNN news report here. It says UK blocks visit by pro-Palestinian US streamer Hasan Piker. Right there he is, being a nerd with his glasses. Hasan Piker, a pro-Palestinian US streamer, says he was barred from the barred by the UK government from entering the country over his criticism of Israel, along with his uncle, a prominent broadcaster. Okay. His uncle is actually also a political commentator. But like, imagine that, a Twitch streamer getting banned from the UK is pretty insane to me. So right here, Britain's government. Let me try this again. Britain's government has barred pro-Palestinian American streamer Hasan Piker and his uncle from entering the country, prompting criticism from free speech advocates over what they say is a crackdown on dissent related to Israel's campaign in Gaza. So the United Kingdom Home Office canceled travel permits belonging to Piker, who's 34, #old, and Turkish-American broadcaster and attorney Cenk Uygur. I hope I pronounced that right. The pair were scheduled to speak this week at the South by Southwest Technology and Business Festival SXSW in London and address the Oxford Union, a debating society at the prestigious British University. So, when it comes to Hasan specifically, I'm sure Cenk was going there for the same reasons. But Hasan already made plans to debate, to talk, to have, speeches at prestigious places such as the SXSW, that's so hard to pronounce, in London, and also the Oxford Union. Okay, the prestigious university in the United Kingdom, Oxford University. And all of a sudden, they took away their visa and said, hell no, you just can't, you can't travel to the UK anymore. That's so fucking insane to me that they can just decide that. In a statement to CNN, the Home Office said it revoked electronic travel authorization for Piker and Uygur, which permits non-UK citizens to visit the country without a visa for up to 6 months. Wow. And this is the reasoning, by the way. Let's zoom in here. This is the reasoning, chat. Boop. It says, on the grounds that their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good. So they're claiming that they are a public menace, chat. Which is insane. Which is insane because, sorry, I keep punching my mic. I feel like there's been way more worse people going to the UK. I mean, compared to Hasan. I don't think Hasan is that menacing that, they should just out of nowhere ban him from the UK. He's already been there multiple times, especially last year. He already went to Oxford to, give speeches and debate Oxford University students. That has already happened. So it just doesn't really make sense as to why all of a sudden something that they've allowed many times, especially last year, all of a sudden they consider him and his uncle on the grounds that their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good. So right here it says, such decisions are based solely on the assessment of potential risk an individual may pose to UK society. That they keep doubling down. That's crazy. They keep doubling down. They're like, yeah, this guy's a danger. He's going to poison the minds of the Britain peoples. That's crazy. The Home Office said, adding that individuals may choose to apply for a visa if they still wish to travel to the UK. So basically, like, they can still reapply, but the process is too long, right? And also, they already had plans, and those plans are just fucking destroyed at this point. On Sunday, Piker posted on X that the British government had revoked my visa. In a text message to CNN, Piker harshly criticized Israel and Britain, charging that free expression and due process in the UK are falling by the wayside of the behest of a foreign apartheid state and its exceptionist interests in the Middle East. He added, "This is a real crisis of democracy." The thing is like, I mean, we all know why. Obviously, why him and his uncle were just banned and had their visas removed. It's basically because pro-Israel groups complained enough, okay, to the UK, whoever's in charge of the visas, I guess. What was it? What were they called, chat? The Home Office in the UK, I guess those guys are in charge of visas. They convinced them that Hasan and his uncle were anti-Semitic. Why? Because they criticized Israel. And as we've talked about in TamaTalks so many times, as well as Hasan Piker in his broadcasts, being anti-Zionist does not mean that you are anti-Semitic. Criticizing Zionists does not mean that you hate Jewish people. Not everyone that is Jewish is a Zionist. Those are simple facts. Not every Jewish person wants to kill all Palestinians. Yet, for some odd reason, Israel is trying to convince you that everyone who is Jewish wants this to happen, when in reality, it's just Israel. It's just Israel. Okay? And Israel's a powerful entity. Unfortunately, you know, a bunch of countries just throw money at it and unending support at it, at the behest of, you know, citizens, their money, their health, their happiness, everything, just to support Israel in their apartheid regime. So, this is his uncle, by the way. This is like literally a threat against free speech. If Hasan can't go to the UK, like, one can only ask, what will happen next? Like, will other countries start banning Hasan and people like him who think like him? Why? Just because we're pro-Palestinian and anti-genocide? Hello? Like, this is actually scary, and we have to talk about this, because what the fuck? How are we going to continue normally within society? I don't think we can. And like it says right here, dangerous precedent for free speech. One British lecturer, Lewis Turner, the co-vice president of British Society for Middle Eastern Studies, says, cautioned that the government's decision sets a dangerous precedent for free expression in the country. The UK government appears to be banning individuals from entering the UK because of their criticism of Israel's state policies, Turner told CNN on Monday. This comes in the context of a much wider crackdown on the freedom of expression relating to Palestine, especially since October 2023, he added, referring to Hamas's attack on Israel and the ensuing Israeli campaign in Gaza. Piker has repeatedly insisted he is anti-Zionist, not anti-Semitic, and he has called for greater accountability over Israeli actions in the Gaza Strip. Both Piker and Uyghur have described the Israeli offense in Gaza as genocide. And in September, an independent UN inquiry concluded that Israel had committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. I mean, that's already been confirmed officially. A finding the Israeli government rejected. And yeah, like officially the UN said, yep, Israel's committing a genocide in Gaza. And Israel just goes, yeah, no. Wait, let me kill these kids here. Okay. No, we're defending ourselves, kills more families, children, old people, steals their organs, shit, like sends them to prison, rapes them with dogs. You know, that is a systemic oppression, and they flattened the entirety of Palestine. There's still people living there trying to survive, and they continue to bomb them relentlessly. But if you see pictures, it's very clear what used to be a beautiful city or a beautiful country with, you know, buildings and stuff. You see pictures of it now completely destroyed. What more evidence do we need? But for some reason, we gotta consider their feelings. We gotta consider the Israeli government rejecting their war crimes and pretending that they're truly defending themselves. So, a self-professed socialist, Piker has been one of the most potent advocates for the rights of Palestinians under Israeli bombings in Gaza following the Hamas-led October 7th, 2023 attack. Okay, and these are one of his most famous quotes, by the way, that a lot of people who criticize him like using against him over and over again. And let's just read some of those. Let's see. He also made comments that have drawn criticism. In an April episode of the podcast Pod Save America, he claimed, "I'm a lesser evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time." Hamas has been designated a terrorist organization by a number of countries and entities, including the United States, Britain, and the European Union. Okay, I don't fucking care if it's considered a terrorist organization. Hello, Nelson Mandela used to be considered a terrorist until like very recently. Very recently, right, chat? How long? I want to look that up. How long has Nelson Mandela, how long was he considered a terrorist by the US? Okay? The guy who liberated South Africa alongside Cuba, by the way. Another guy in another country that's considered a terrorist entity these days, or always. Let's see, Nelson Mandela terrorist by US. Let's see. The United States officially designated Nelson Mandela and his political party, the ANC, as a terrorist, but for how long? It was not until July 2008! 5 years before his death. Okay? So Western colonial powers considering anyone as a terrorist doesn't really mean anything, because Western colonial powers will always make the countries that they are colonizing, abusing, or taking advantage of as the bad guy. The ones who are defending themselves, those organizations will always be called terrorists, okay? Now, here's the question. If someone kills your family, if someone kills your lover, if someone kills your neighbors and everyone you know, what are you gonna do? Obviously, you're gonna fight back. And you're gonna join resistant groups. I consider Hamas a resistant group. okay? If you kill everyone that someone loves or knows, you cannot be surprised when they fight back and ask for revenge. That is a very human reaction, a rightful reaction as well. So that's what you have to consider when Hasan said, I'm a lesser evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time. Why? Because Israel is the colonizer, Israel is the apartheid state, and Hamas are the innocent who has suffered from Israel's war crimes. Simple as that, man. Like, what else is there to say? But even what is it, CNN? Even CNN is throwing that at Hasan's face. Like, oh, we cannot believe you said that. By the way, did you know that that Hamas is a terrorist organization? Okay, buddy. Well, so was Nelson Mandela till 2008. Okay. Oh yeah, and then the most famous quote. Several years earlier, the Twitch streamer apologized for inappropriate remarks he made in 2019 that America deserved 9/11 dead. He said during an appearance on the Young Turks, I should have used more precise and better use of language there. But I agree with that too. Again, the US keeps provoking people from other nations. And when they, when someone uses excessive force that unfortunately takes more lives, you cannot be mad at the oppressor getting hurt by messing up some other country. Just think about what happened in Iran. The way we started the war with Iran, the recent war in Iran, is by killing around 200 little girls at an elementary school. That's how we started the war. And people get mad at Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. People get mad at Iran for bombing US bases. People get mad at Iran for retaliating every time Israel or the US attacks them? Come on now. That ain't fair. And if you think it is, it's because you're a colonizer. Before you're human, you're a colonizer, okay? And these are the main quotes that people use against Hasan and criticize him for, and I guess, enough reasoning to ban him from the fucking UK. Speaking at the Oxford Union last May, Piker described anti-Semitism as one of the oldest bigotries that has caused those of the Jewish faith a tremendous amount of pain. He also denounced the conflation of anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism as a cynical ploy to stop all manner of conversation. And then this is Donnie O'Sullivan from CNN. Again, when people confuse Zionism as all Jews feel this way, and therefore if you do not like Zionism, then you hate the Jews. No. It is a cynical ploy to stop all manner of conversation. When you claim that someone hates Jews falsely, then it just stops a conversation. People don't, no one wants to be a racist. I hope. Shit, I don't know about y'all, but at least for me, no one wants to be a racist, right? When you try to defend humanity of a group of people, and while you're trying to do that, you try to do that by criticizing Israel's actions, and someone goes, well, you're a fucking racist, you're anti-Semitic. That stops a conversation. The important conversation that the point that you're trying to make is maybe Israel should stop committing a genocide. Now, as mentioned in this article, Cenk Uygur, I can't ever pronounce his name right because it's spelled as CNK, so I want to say Senk, but I know it's like Cenk. He was the one that actually found out first that he was banned from the UK, and then later on, that's how Hasan found out. So let's hear his recollection of things, testimonies, and stuff from like this random podcast thing that he attended, I think. And then after, we'll see what Hasan has to say. So let's hear what Cenk has to say here.
Tell me this, were you told?
So what is this? LBC. Chotomate. And let me turn off my música here. Wherever it is. There it is. We just have so many sources here, guys. Okay, so this is LBC talking to Cenk. This is called "You Can Criticize Israel in the UK. Heated debate over the Young Turks' ban." Okay, so I guess he's debating this chick on whether or not you can criticize Israel in the UK, and I guess this chick is defending the UK and being like, you can. Well, I don't know. Can you do that if you're banned? Question mark chat. Well, let's see.
Why you'd been banned?
No, I only know through the reporting on the Times. They said that that I had criticized the king. I'm sorry, Israel. Same thing. And so that was unacceptable. By the way, I could criticize the British government all I like. I can criticize the king all I like. I can criticize anyone on planet Earth all I like, except Israel. So now you know who rules you.
Who rules us?
Israel, obviously. Well, I mean, like, in British history that the gravest offense is insulting the king. No. I've insulted Israel, apparently, now you know who your new king is.
That's not the gravest offense in this country. You can insult the king as much as you like in this country.
No, I'm saying historically. Of course not today.
It's kind of, she's already pressed. She's already triggered. Actually, you can criticize the king, in this country. And which, I mean, that's not the point. The point is you can't criticize Israel. Sorry, I'm trying to make this more visibly pleasing for me only. But that's crazy. That's crazy. This is the cope. I can already feel the cope, but let's see.
I'm glad you started where you've started there, because I did want to ask you about something you said. And again, I don't know the reason you've been banned either. We don't have that information from the Home Secretary, but I know what your critics have said about you, so I'll make our conversation in part about that, but only in part. In your conversation with Piers Morgan yesterday, you said, and if I'm misquoting you in any way, you must correct me. You said it's ironic to say we're banning criticism of Israel by saying our government is controlled by Israel. And based on what you just said to me a moment ago, when you say our government, do you mean the UK government? Do you really believe it is controlled by Israel?
Yes.
No, until they banned me, I didn't think that necessarily at all. I was saying about the American government, and the American government is indisputable. The Israeli lobby gives to 94% of Congress. They're the #1 lifetime donor to Joe Biden, to Donald Trump, to all of our leaders. American media now, apparently the British government says you must ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It is our most essential command. And by the way, they're not alone. Big Pharma also controls the American Congress, and so does big oil and defense contractors. A lot of people don't know this because American media keeps it hidden from you, but America legalized bribery. that happened in Supreme Court decisions in 76, 78, and then, of course, famously in Citizens United. So people can just purchase our politicians. The Adelson family alone has given Donald Trump over $300 million to win these elections.
When you said as
Yeah.
well, your critics say that you said that 94% of Congress is essentially funded by Israel. Do you mean Jews via lobby groups? Because that's different, isn't it? Jewish people in America who have...
Oh my God. See, this is something that you gotta be careful with when you hear chat. It kind of pisses me off whenever people make this conflation. Again, so here's a prime example of someone trying to stop the conversation, right? Right now, Cenk is criticizing how, like, APAC organizations, basically, APAC is an organization that that pays that funds politicians to say pro-Israel propaganda, talking points, whatever. And most of the US politicians, okay, are paid by APAC. That's why right now it's a huge thing where, like, these new politicians that are coming into power or are being voted for, those who are voting for politicians and who care about genocide, and who don't want to support genocide, usually look if they are supported by APAC donors, okay? And again, APAC donors means people who pay politicians to support Israel. Now, one of the main talking points that people say, especially what this lady just said, pisses me off, is like, how dare you? How dare you basically point at the Jewish people who are paying for this? Who are paying for this? Are you saying all Jewish people who pay for this are bad people? Like, what? Hello? Question mark? Anyone who pays for APAC or funds APAC, quite honestly, not all of them are Jewish people. A lot of them are like white people. Like, it can be any race. You can, when it comes to being a Zionist, you can be any race. It just means supporting Israel unconditionally, okay? And that's the first thing she did, is like, okay, so are you saying that all the Jewish people who pay for APAC are bad people? Bro, not everyone who pay for APAC are Jewish. But she wants to turn it into a racial thing. That is insane to me. They're trying to turn it into a racial thing. Yeah. They're like, oh, are you racist? Perhaps? No? What? Why is that your immediate thought?
Have stuff to say, like other lobby groups have stuff to say. That's slightly...
Okay, but what does APAC have to say? It says they should continue the genocide in Gaza, okay? And to dehumanize Palestinians and to be racist against Muslims. That's what APAC pays for. Hello?
Different, isn't it, than Israel controls Congress? Do you really mean Jews?
No, it's not. It's It's different from Israel controlling Congress. What about the Jewish donors? Hello? What are you fucking talking about? What is she talking about? Those who support Israel unconditionally and support genocide, those are the people that are being criticized, whether they're Jewish or not, okay? Let's rewind because I interrupted.
Jewish people in America who have stuff to say, like other lobby groups have stuff to say. That's slightly different, isn't it, than Israel controls Congress? Do you really mean Jews control Congress?
No.
Yeah, no, look, not at all. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you why. So two reasons. Number one, as I explained to everyone, this isn't, this actually at the core of it has nothing to do with Israel. Israel's the tip of the iceberg. It's a symptom. The cause of the problem is the money in politics, corruption. literally anyone can buy our politicians. If
Yeah.
Britain wanted to, you could buy our politicians. So, and everyone has bought our politicians. They're the most deeply corrupt people on planet Earth. So, all the Israeli lobby has done is figure out the same thing as the drug companies, etc. Hey, these guys are up for sale, and you'd actually be irrational if you weren't buying American politicians. Now, why is it not all Jews? Well, of course it's not all Jews. All Jews don't agree. That's a
Yeah.
preposterous and I would say anti-Semitic thing to say. I have Jewish
Yeah.
Can I
family who,
explain?
hold on.
One,
No, it is. It is. Because by saying, yeah, all Jews are Zionists and all Jews are pro-Israel, that is anti-Semitic. That's kind of racist. That is racist. Why? Because you're demonizing a whole group of people, and people don't realize that they do this, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that it's pretty offensive to just assume that a whole race category supports one thing, especially in this case, Israel. By saying that all Jewish people support Israel, that's anti-Semitic in itself. It's like saying all Mexicans do drugs. I don't do drugs. Fucking hell. And if someone were to say that to me, that's racist. So she kind of like stuttering now that like Chunk kind of
Not all Jews. Well, of course
he's letting her know that she's being anti-Semitic.
it's not all Jews. All Jews don't agree. That's a preposterous and I would say anti-Semitic thing to say. I have Jewish
can I
family who,
explain?
hold on.
Well, no, hang on.
I
Can
have
I
Jewish
explain myself,
family.
given that you've just suggested I might have been anti-Semitic? Can I explain why I asked you the difference in
Yeah.
that particular instance between Israeli and Jewish?
Oh,
Is that when
okay.
you talk
Explain,
about
girl.
Israel buying Congress, that conjures a
Yeah.
particular thing. But if American Jews want to donate to AIPAC, want
Why?
to donate and lobby,
Then they support
politicians,
Israel.
That's perfectly acceptable. That's why I asked you that
That's
distinction. It's not because I'm
accept.
anti-Semitic.
Well, I mean,
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit further. Okay, so number one, like I said, anyone can purchase Congress. So
yeah, anyone,
if
not
you're an
just
American
Jewish
citizen,
people.
you can do that.
Which is my
But does
point.
that mean that? Yeah. So does that mean that they represent all Jewish people? Of course not.
No.
Some of the best fighters in the peace movement and against Israel's war crimes are Jewish folks. Now, both in America and in the UK, Zach Polanski is terrific, the leader of the Green Party. Bernie Sanders is terrific. Literally, some of our best fighters are Jewish Americans, Jewish Brits, etc. I have Jewish family. I grew up with nothing but Jewish friends, and they're not for these wars. They're not for this genocide. So are most of the people contributing to AIPAC and the Israeli lobby Jewish? Probably, but not all.
Probably.
There's tons of Christian Zionists, and they also contribute. So what unites them is not their religion. What unites them is their ideology, which is Zionism in this case.
Can I ask you? You used the word genocide there, and again,
For example, here's another thing that maybe people will have an easier time understanding. Anyone can be a white supremacist. And especially if you're a minority, and people don't believe this, but minorities can also be white supremacists because they want to be white so bad. They want to be white so bad. And I've seen that before within my minority community. Fucking hell, I've seen people want to be white and join white supremacy. Heck, you have political commentators. What's that guy's name? I forgot that guy's name. But isn't like one of the most famous political commentators on YouTube who are they on YouTube? I can't remember. But who are very racist? Like, isn't he a Mexican? Hello? Like, why is he spewing white supremacy talking points? It's because he's a white supremacist. Okay? Please tell me she's not about to deny the genocide. I don't know. Let's see.
your critics who say this is a justified ban, again, we don't know the reasons for the ban, but your critics say that you describe the nation of Israel's actions as genocide, and you're within your rights to do so. It's not been established as truth, but you're within your rights to do so.
It's definitely.
It has been. Isaiah clocked it right there. It has been established by the UN that what Israel is doing is genocide. The ICC, the UN, hello? Isaiah saw it from a mile away. No, yeah. So she clearly, apparently, despite huge amount of evidence everywhere, she's denying that genocide. She's implying that she doesn't believe that there's a genocide happening in in Palestine. Jesus fucking Christ. She goes, it hasn't been fucking established officially. It has, actually? What is she on?
Only true.
All right, well,
Yeah,
we'll let
keep
the
going.
idea been established as truth, but you're within your rights to do and you're within your rights to do so. It's not been established as truth, but you're within your rights to do so.
It's definitely true.
All right, well,
Yeah,
we'll let
keep
the
going.
we'll let the
It has
ICC
been
make the
established.
judgment in the appropriate way. You've described Israel as barbaric and savage. You've claimed Israel uses Jews as human shields.
Yes.
You've claimed that the global war on terror was a global war against Israel's enemies, that America... well, we've talked about Congress. You talked about it being occupied by Israel. On those words, your critics claim that you're sitting dangerously close to the kind of language that is creating the kind of conspiratorial fever that's led to a huge amount of anti-Semitism on our streets. Now, we cannot lay all of that. We cannot lay all of that at your feet. Of course, we can't. But do you ever question the language you use?
No,
What?
not at all.
No.
I question whether it should be tougher. I mean, we're all going to ask ourselves later, what did we do to stop a genocide? A genocide was happening not only in our lives, but with our money, especially if you're an American.
My money.
They're literally robbing us to pay for the most disgusting genocide you'll ever see. And so what people who are Zionists and fervent supporters of Israel do is they hide behind anti-Semitism.
That's right.
And they use anti-Semitism as a weaponized charge to defend the disgusting, immoral actions of a foreign government. Governments do terrible things. They don't represent all the people in that government. I was born in Turkey, and I'm an American citizen now. But my God, I hope that people don't judge me as a Turk based on the Turkish government, or even based as an American based on what the American government has done. This is obvious to any elementary thinker, except the Israeli propagandists try to manipulate everyone by saying, no, the only country on earth you're not allowed to criticize is Israel because we're going to hide behind Jewish civilians. And by the way, cause them harm because you don't represent them and you're pretending to.
For what it's worth, and I speak to the British public every day for 3 hours, 5 days a week, nobody in this country thinks you can't criticize Israel. I want to ask
I just got banned for it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see exactly what the reasons were given, and then.
Girl, she was banned. We'll see for the reasons fucking why you were fucking banned. Bro, him and Hasan, really? Especially Hasan? Like, who I'm sorry, I'm like, again, tweaking here. Now I'm tweaking. Who are known for being one of the first pro-Palestine advocates after October 7th. Not even after, way before October 7th. Way before. I learned about Palestine from Hasan many years before October 7th. They were like one of the main online leaders to advocate for it, on stream at least. Well, many people still believed Israel. You know, that's what they're known for. Why else do you think he was fucking banned? Hello? She's so delusional. She's Delulu, Chet. She's Delulu, man. What the hell?
And you may be right that has happened, but people.
But that is the reason they gave.
No,
they gave it to the press.
That's the government. I'm talking about the people of the country. Can I ask?
Oh, the people of the country are beautiful. They agree with me.
Well, not all of them do, but can I ask you?
Okay, now she's saying no, they don't agree with you. They would want you to be fucking banned for criticizing Israel. Okay, come on. Which one is it, girly? Why are you bringing them up then?
About this conversation that's been reported by Axios between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. Clearly, Donald Trump has given him all 4 barrels. Do you think Netanyahu will listen to that and change anything that he's doing?
So we're talking at an absolutely critical time, and people are going to get to see with their own eyes and ears what happens next. That's a great question. I believe, so it's obvious that Netanyahu is not going to listen to Trump. Netanyahu never listens to anyone, never listens to Trump, never listens to America, never tells the truth. He's a genocidal monster. And the fact that we've given him even $1 is a great shame and is a stain on the morality of all of our countries. So no, the genocidal monster will not stop. He will attack. And he said it yesterday. So he said, no, I'm never going to stop. I'm going to keep attacking Lebanon. I'm going to bomb Beirut. Ben Gvir is talking about bombing the civilians in the suburbs of Beirut.
Do you accept the bombs are coming the other direction as well?
No, that's not true.
No. Again, these countries that are being bombed by Israel retaliate. Israel's always the first one throwing the bombs. Hello? How come it's not bad when Israel does it, but it's bad when someone does it in retaliation? Why is self-defense such a crime? Hello? Do you fucking acknowledge? Okay, do you acknowledge that it's always Israel first? It's so dehumanizing. Chat, if I were to fucking bomb you, I hope you bomb me back. Shit.
In 2024, Hezbollah and Israel made a ceasefire deal. Hezbollah, until the Iran war began, never violated it. Israel violated it over 1,000 times. There's a ceasefire in Gaza right now. Israel hasn't listened to it at all. They've murdered over 900 people since the ceasefire. It will not stop murdering all of their neighbors. So we've got to stop funding these people. This is a moral stain on all of us, and our governments are so sick that they serve these Zionists, and they're making us morally complicit in these crimes against humanity. So what's going to happen next is Israel's going to drive us further into the war.
Okay,
and we would be insane to follow them. Insane.
If I can come back in, you've used the genocide word a lot, you've used genocidal a lot, and you've directly said that Benjamin Netanyahu is essentially a genocidal maniac. You said to me a moment ago, the Gaza situation will go down as the most disgusting genocide you'll ever see. Again, death is death. Dead children are dead children. It's an utter tragedy, however and wherever it happens. But is that not the kind of inflammatory language that might have contributed to being banning? Because let me finish my question. More disgusting than the Holocaust, more disgusting than Cambodia.
In our lifetime.
Yeah.
They've all been, well, Cambodia and Rwanda have both been in my lifetime. Cambodia, Rwanda, the Holocaust. That's the kind of inflammatory stuff that does get people fired up against Jews in Britain.
No.
It does get people fired up in Jews against Britain. I've seen it happen.
No, that's insane. So wait a minute. You want me to just give a pass to this foreign government?
No.
Then how? No. These are all tricks. These are all tricks to say, don't criticize this way, don't criticize that way. No, you're immoral if you're not deeply criticizing the Israeli government. If you're not deeply criticizing the slaughter of 23,000 children. So we were all told after October 7th, including by me, that you should be disgusted by the actions of Hamas. They killed 36 kids. What did they have to do with the government of Israel? 36
Were you
kids,
disgusted by the actions of Hamas?
What's that?
You mentioned the actions of Hamas you were required to be disgusted by. Were you disgusted by them?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. I led the charge saying this is unacceptable. You can't kill civilians. If you're for the peace movement, you have to be for peace. If you're for nonviolence, you have to be for nonviolence for everyone. So your heart should break over the 1,200 people killed, the 36 kids killed. Now, everyone agrees there, and the media said, absolutely, you should hate the Palestinians. Look at what they did, right? And they said over and over again, you're terrorists. Okay, I agree. 36 kids, terrible. 1,200 people, terrible. On the other side, 76,000 dead at a bare minimum. 23,000, a stadium full of children murdered. 23,000. And they go, not as big a deal. Hey, don't drive hate. We get to murder. Don't drive hate. Don't drive hate. Well, how about you stop murdering children? Did that ever occur to the Israelis? And then they blame other people. They're saying, oh, You have offended me. Israeli feelings are more important than Palestinian children. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Okay.
Has anybody,
Yeah.
has Britain banned anyone for, trying to actually, look, I don't know. Britain
Someone
is a
give
different thing than America, but in terms of the Palestinians,
give them
no one
water,
cares
man.
about their feelings. Only the Zionists say you have to care about our feelings, and our feelings are paramount and more important than your lives.
Well, again,
so I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that.
I have to leave you there just for time reasons. It's time for our bulletin, but thank you for joining me, Jen Huger, for joining me today.
Okay, bye. Well, I'm glad that he's like emotional about it. Fucking hell. It's true though. And I think like the 36 kids, I wonder if that has been verified. And I wonder if he's like talking about the fake news of the 33, was it 33 or 36? I thought it was 33 beheaded children that Hamas supposedly did. It turns out that was already proven to be a lie, especially by the New York Post had to post an apology. They admitted that the person who posted it without credibility, without doing research. It was just hearsay from the Israeli soldiers, and they wholeheartedly believed it, but there was like no evidence of it. However, you can easily find corpses of children that have been mutilated, that have been destroyed, that have had their heads chopped off in Palestine. Very easily, you can find that in Palestine. In Israel, not so much. Not so much. But if there is, that has been verified by a reliable force that isn't Israel, then yeah, I think killing civilians is always bad. I do agree with Cenk there. Killing children and civilians is always bad. Killing military soldiers or kidnapping them, that's a different story because they signed up for it. And they probably killed some family or someone innocent in Palestine to deserve whatever happened to them. So for soldiers, and I say this, I show this same energy to American soldiers as well. I'm sorry. Unless they regret their actions of serving the military and use their experience for good. If you go in a different country to kill children, to rape women, to destroy villages, to destabilize a country's government just for corporate greed, then yeah, I don't feel sorry for you either, buddy. I'm gonna criticize the shit out of you, and whatever happens to you, you deserve it. And another thing that Americans lately, especially on Twitter, have been saying is like, okay, well, people are forced to join the military because they are poor. I'm like, okay, well, same goes for me. I had that same opportunity. Me and my friend, my ex-friend, who's not my friend anymore, me and her had the opportunity, and she told me she was going to join the military, and I told her, no, that's a huge commitment. You shouldn't sell your life to the military because, you don't know what you're going to do. You just work hard like everyone else. I'll help you. Fucking hell. I'm fucked too, but you have me. She didn't listen. She joined the military. She ended up getting raped and abused by the same military. Okay? She went cray-cray. I tried helping the girl, and she became so toxic. I couldn't help her anymore. We had to break up as friends. But, I had that same opportunity. I chose to suffer as a poor person. Now as a kid when I made that decision, God fucking damn it. I don't think a poor person in America has more of a right than a poor brown person, a poor black person, a poor anyone, a poor person of color from any country that is, suffering from American colonialism. Their lives are as equal as mine. They're not worth more than mine. Just because I'm poor doesn't give me the right to ruin another country, to destabilize a country, and to hurt people from other countries. Sorry, no way, Jose. That's just, it's basic moralism. It's basic morals, okay? That's just even more reason to go against the government, though. Like, a government that forces you to be a threat to fellow humans is incredibly rotten. No, but Americans don't think that way. Americans don't humanize people from different countries. That's a sad fact. And I say that as an American. Okay, I used to be the same fucking way. Until I fucking opened my eyes. Okay? Until, you know, I asked myself the hard questions. Do I believe everyone's life is equal as mine? And I said to myself, yes. So I have to show that and prove that. Americans will say the right thing, but at the end of the day, they're gonna defend a soldier that killed a couple of kids in a foreign country? That went to Vietnam and fucking burned down villages and raped women and burned them down after, alongside the villages? Hell no. Hell no. Like, people just need to fucking use their brain a little bit. Stop being fucking sheep. Your life is not worth more than mine or anyone else's. So, unless you want to kill some kids in a foreign country, well, you know, you deserve everything wrong that happens to you. But fucking hell, I'm gonna criticize the shit out of you too. You cannot bitch and whine about it afterwards. Jesus Christ. But this is, let's see what Hasan has to say. This is like immediately after he found out that he was banned from the UK. He was deeply disturbed. He's very, like, not happy about it for good reason. But I feel like we should hear what he has to say.
Left-wing YouTube pundit Cenk Uygur banned from entering the UK. Yeah, it's... Okay, well, I didn't want to talk about it, but my visa has also been revoked. We just found out. Yes, I will not be going as it stands currently. I don't believe that I'll be able to go to the United Kingdom this upcoming week. I don't know who to reach out for this. I was supposed to do something with Yanis Varoufakis, do something with Zach Polanski, do something with Jeremy Corbyn, do something at the Oxford Union, and now the Labour government has revoked our visas. Go to Ireland? Okay, guys, it's not about being in the vicinity of the UK. I was supposed to do in the UK. Yeah. A sad state of affairs where obviously the interests of Israel take the highest priority. But yeah, they've revoked my visa as well. It's a 40-minute flight is what I meant. Politicians fly over there all the time for press stuff. Dude, what are you talking about? I had like actual things to do in the UK. It's so funny. You guys are like, dude, just swim across the canal, take a boat and enter illegally. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to risk getting deported and not entry into the country for 10 years. Can Jeremy Corbyn do anything about it? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. Dear Hasan Piker, your UK ETA has been canceled. This means you cannot travel to the UK without a visa. This is because your presence in the UK is not considered to be conducive to the public good. You cannot appeal this decision. Apply for a visa. If you still want to travel to the UK,
you cannot
apply
appeal.
for a visa.
Yikes.
So we can consider your circumstances in more detail. Having your ETA canceled does not mean you will be refused a visa. Nick Shirley can go, though, of course, because Nick Shirley is a dog for the fascist state. Yeah, it's...
Nick Shirley is like this really dumb YouTuber who does interviews and supposedly investigations on YouTube. And he became very famous after he falsely accused Somali US citizens of doing fraud childcare businesses, and started this whole craze of like Americans wanting to deport Somali citizens, US citizens, from the country because they believed that they were committing fraud. Trump listened to him as well, and he just became super famous. but he's actually pretty dumb. And if you watch the video, like, well, I wouldn't recommend watching it, but if you want to watch his videos, you can, obviously. But specifically the Somali video, it was pretty easy to debunk. Like, he kept going to children daycares, and he went in there and he's like, "Where's the children?" And then the Somali workers would not show him the children. Or if they did, they would say there wasn't any children in the facility, and he automatically thought it was a fraud and scam, and that they were just receiving millions of dollars from the government to support these businesses, and they don't even have children in the businesses. Well, he was doing these interviews during winter break, you know, when kids are at home, not at school. Also, why would anyone show a rando with a camera children? Like, what? Of course they're not gonna show you children, like, hello. But I guess he does these things everywhere around the world, and especially in the UK. So yeah. I mean, he can go to the UK, but Hasan can't. Yikes. Kind of crazy how modern white America is created off the fact that people migrated there from a bunch of different countries, but they will now disregard human lives from those very places their ancestors moved from. The radical left should start spreading false information like that. Sucks to be on the moral side sometimes, /J. The radical left does spread false information all the time. It's not only a right-wing issue. That's something that people need to also realize. A bunch of so-called left creators and also right-wingers, they work together for the same goal, and that is to support Israel unconditionally and support fascism. So, you know, they're both on the same team sometimes. You just gotta be able to see who's a real one and who isn't, who's someone who claims to be on the left but supports Israel, supports you know, banning someone who's pro-Palestine. They usually agree with right-wingers, okay? It's not it's not only a right-wing issue. It's an issue of both sides working together to continue to, you know, keep the poor poor and keep the rich rich.
Sad, man. What are you gonna do? The other day, someone said, "Watch Labor Party do this a couple days before your trip," and it happened. Yeah, I genuinely listen. I'm gonna say something.
I'm gonna go get water, but I'll keep this playing.
I hope you guys understand. The Western world and liberal democracy is a sham. And all of the supposed things that they claim to care about, they do not actually care about. We are moving into a very different timeline. This is why I constantly reiterate that fascism is here, right? Like the administration trying to deploy subpoenas against political dissidents in the United States of America, or the UK that's like completely captive to the interests of pro-Israel advocacy organizations. Like they are moving in a way. And this is the liberal government, right? The Labor government.
Liberal, see, not only right-wingers.
And the American government is the
not
right-wing
only
government
Republicans.
Like we are in the 1930s era, where I think that the administrations in both the UK and the United States of America, regardless of like their supposed ideological differences, are absolutely moving as a uniparty. And things are going to get even worse from here on out. Yes, I was supposed to fly to the UK Tuesday. I was supposed to fly to the United Kingdom on Tuesday. I was supposed to speak at the Oxford Union alongside Cenk. I was supposed to speak at South by Southwest and also do another interview with Yanis Varoufakis. But Jewish groups call on UK to bar dangerous Hasan Piker amid anti-Semitic attacks. And they did. Because Israel advocacy organizations have unbelievable amounts of power over what even the United Kingdom has to say and do. Yeah, if you're an avowed anti-Zionist Your travel will be restricted. It's totally ridiculous, dude.
Now it's
And no,
possible.
this is
It's
not an opportunity
insane.
for you guys to say go to France or go to other countries, okay? It's very, very shitty. I genuinely did not think this would happen. I'll be honest. You have enough clout now to set the narrative if they turn you away. The UK arresting its elderly for protesting in support of genocide wasn't enough for Keir Starmer. Now the pro-genocide Labour Party is denying entry to anti-genocide tourists. If anything, you should fly out and make it a major news event. What are you talking about, brother? No, I'm not going to... They won't put me on a flight if I don't have a visa. You don't know what you're talking about. If the Labour government is actively denying a visa that they already issued to me, because we got the visa and they revoked it, you can't get on a flight. It's not how that works. You can't just like fly. I've been banned from the UK. I tried to get a flight. I tried to get on a flight from London to attend South by Southwest London and give a speech at Oxford. I've been banned for criticizing Israel. Are we free anymore? This is oppression of Western citizens by our own governments on behalf of a different country. Yeah, that's when I found out as well. They wouldn't let Cenk on the flight. At least they didn't let him fly into the country and then deport him. If you can't address Oxford Union in person, can you not interact via Zoom? No, it's not the same. And I don't know what these guys are going to do anyway. Rima Hassan was refused a visa to Canada 2 months ago. Yeah, well, Canada is different because I'm an American citizen. I'm not French. So, I mean, they might do this now that the Commonwealth has established the precedent. This could also potentially limit my travels to Australia, which I was planning to go to. Weren't you let in already once under Starmer? Yes. I've been to the UK on numerous occasions, and all of the stuff that they're complaining about, I said and freely entered the country. Like all the stuff I said prior, the things that they're like complaining about were things that I had said already, and they didn't have any issues with my travel into the UK. So yeah. We've had warnings. It's just time now. Everything else has been 0 to 100. This is what we've learned. We cannot be shocked when history has been playing in front of us in lockstep. As a nation, we have been quiet and idle, which allows it. Yeah, this is straight up fascism. Israel is a fascist country, and it gets to enforce its bidding upon other countries. And in an effort to abide by the wishes of a foreign country like Israel, the Western liberal democracies that are supposed to protect and preserve speech, even if they don't have a First Amendment like we do here in the United States of America, they're supposed to have reason, like good reason. This is not one of them. This is not one of them. Being critical of Israel while effectively combating anti-Semitism is not a good enough reason to bar someone entry into the country. Ironically enough, one of my famous speeches that I delivered was at Oxford Union, which is what I was supposed to attend. Once again, where I warned the Western governments and I warned those who were worried about anti-Semitism that this dangerous association between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, this conflation between Judaism and Zionism, was going to create an environment where anti-Semitism would manifest. I was supposed to see you at the Varoufakis event. I'm so pissed. Well, yeah, I'm pissed too. I really was excited to go to the UK. Like I said, I was linking up with Zach Polanski, Jeremy Corbyn, Giannis Varoufakis. I was doing something at South by Southwest. I was going to be there for almost 7 days, dude. We had a week's worth of events and things to do lined up. Yeah. You're a member of the media? Attack against the free press? Oh, 100%. Left-wing YouTube pundit Cenk, we were banned from entering the UK. Turkish-American book to appear at South by Southwest London is travel authorization revoked by Shabana Mahmood after concern over comments about Israel and grooming gangs? About grooming gangs?
Grooming gangs? What is that?
I'm surprised that they went after Cenk too. It's very obvious that it's like, it's not even just, the fact that it's not just me. Dude, I can't believe it. I cannot believe how much motion Israel has over other countries. Like, what the Meanwhile, speaking of motion Israel has over other countries, we were just talking about Connie Chen. Obviously, Israel is subverting American democracy once again. Bezalel Smotrich is in the United States of America. Let's take a look. Israel Day Parade in New York City with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, far-right Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, and other far-right Israeli lawmakers and American politicians march on Fifth Avenue. New York City Mayor Zohar Mamdani decided to skip the event.
There's actually Israeli parades in the US, bro.
Look at this.
That guy is known, the finance minister. He always advocates to begin or to start doing what's it called? To start selling land in Gaza already. Like, he always advocates for it. He cannot wait to make business in colonized land in Gaza. And it sucks. It sucks that, like, these people get to celebrate genocide freely in the US, just like that. But people like Hasan get legit banned from a whole ass country. It's very insane. Because this guy, the guy that's being shown, the Israeli finance minister, is, you know, just like every Israeli politician, they're just really fucked up. They really just want to destroy the entirety of Palestine and make it as their own. Fully, 100%. And they're greedy too, because look at them still bombing Lebanon and Iran. It really sucks. The hypocrisy is just very, you can't really ignore it. So this is like the official reply from Oxford, the Oxford Union. They actually ended up making a statement, so I kind of want to read that. This is by the Drop Site News. It says, Oxford Union vows to host Piker and Uyghur remotely as backlash grows over UK ban. The Oxford Union has refused to cancel its June 6th event with Hasan Piker and Cenk Uyghur, despite the UK Home Office revoking both of their travel authorizations on the grounds that their presence would not be conducive to the public good. This 11th hour call signals much more than democratic decline. It is a direct threat to free expression, says Oxford Union President Arwa El-Rayiz said, "We have never turned a speaker away because of their political beliefs, nor have we sought a permission slip from the state. We will not start now. Free speech does not require a visa." Damn. That's crazy. The fallout from the ban continued to grow. Journalist and Novara Media editor Ash Sarkar withdrew from the SXSW London entirely, writing, "If I were in their shoes, I would hope that any organization which invited me to speak and had their programming interfered by the Home Office would have had the minimal expected integrity to offer some defense of lawful free expression and condemn government overreach." Piker himself responded that SXSW totally didn't defend me or Cenk at all. So apparently, so let's first see what the SXSW had to say. Again, like we said earlier on stream, this is like a famous organization event where many people, many speakers talk, ranging from, you know, music to political commentators. Many speakers speak at this place in London, and that's where Hasan was going to speak at. Apparently, they didn't fucking defend Hasan at all. The place that he was gonna speak at. Give me a sec. I don't know why all my tabs disappeared. Now I'm just looking at, look, nothing. Hopefully you guys are still there. But I can't see shit for some reason. But here, I'm pulling out my notes. Boop! Da-da. So this is by Variety. They said, SX... This is so hard to say, goddammit. SXSW London has released a statement regarding speakers Hasan Piker and Cenk Uyghur being barred from entering the UK. This is what they said. The fucking event one of the events that both of these people, that at least Hasan was going to participate in giving important speeches, they said decisions on entry to the UK are a matter for the Home Office and the individuals concerned. SXSW London's role is to convene a broad range of diverse voices and perspectives. We remain focused on delivering a program this week, fostering open dialogue and exchange of ideas, and featuring more than 800 speakers, artists, and screenings. Damn, they started promoting their event. They literally said, we don't give a fuck. GG's, come to our event. We have 800 speakers except for Hasan. That's insane. Hasan and Cenk. I don't know if Cenk was going to participate in this though. I'm pretty sure maybe they were. But that's kind of insane that they're like, yeah, we don't fucking care, bro. Yeah, a promotion, free promotion for our event. And so this is why many other people who were going to speak on this event, especially journalist and Novara media editor Ash Sarkar, were like, yeah, we're not participating. That's fucked up. If you guys aren't willing to defend Hasan and Cenk, then you're not willing to defend me. And they just they withdrew from the event. This is like a pretty prestigious event apparently as well. So it really does mean a lot when people do that. Even Hasan was pissed off that this event didn't defend him and his uncle. The Labour Muslim Network called the ban alarming and demanded a clear government explanation, stating that support for Palestinian rights, criticism of the actions of the Israeli government, and advocacy for international law and human rights must never be grounds for exclusion from public debate in the United Kingdom. And these are the official here, let me zoom in so you guys can see that. So this is the quote that I read earlier. Pretty cool quote at the end there that says, "This event will not be cancelled. The union will ensure this discussion takes place. Free speech does not require a visa." That's bars right there. That's intense stuff. This is also Ash Sarkar saying, yeah, I'm withdrawing. If you don't support Hasan, you don't support me. Oh, actually, let me read what she had to say in her letter. In her email, she says, having read the SXSW statement on Hasan and Cenk being denied entry to the UK, I'm afraid I have to withdraw my participation. If I were in their shoes, I would hope that any organization which invited me to fucking speak, by the way, and had their programming interfered with by the Home Office would have had the minimal expected integrity to offer some defense of lawful free expression and condemn government overreach. Thank you for your invitation, Ash Sarkar. That's intense. That was crazy. Oh yeah, and then Hasan actually vowed to never do an event there. Like, if he's allowed back into the UK in the future, he literally vowed to never work with them right there. Never work with them for the rest of my life. That's crazy. Rightfully. And then this is the Labour Muslim Network saying that this is very alarming and they demand a clear explanation from the UK government. That's insane. But not only that, okay, this event basically threw Hasan and Cenk under the bus. But you know who else pulled out from this event? Drop Side News themselves, guys. This reliable news network as well dropped out. It says Dropsite News was scheduled to host a panel discussion at SXSW's London on June 3rd. We have informed the organizers we will not be moving forward with the event following SXSW's refusal to condemn the British Home Office's state censorship of our colleagues Hasan Piker and Czech Uyghur, who were also scheduled to speak at SXSW. The banning of our colleagues is part of an intensifying campaign by the UK government to stifle criticism of Israel and criminalize pro-Palestine activism at a time when the genocide in Gaza is continuing. Mad respect. Mad respect. And this is how you fight against these like corrupt organizations, because free speech right now is at risk. What is at risk? I don't know why I pronounced it like that, but it is at risk. You know, if other countries decide to hop on this, you know, banning Twitch streamers and other political commentators, who's to say that they wouldn't do that to an average civilian? Imagine if they did it to me. Imagine if I couldn't enter the UK. Imagine if I couldn't enter the entirety of Europe. That's fucked up. Why? Because I have this watermelon behind me? Because I am pro-Palestine? Hello? If you believe in free speech, you have to talk about this whether you agree or not, because it's just insane to me that there's war criminals in the United States of America having a parade, woo, of how they're so happy committing a genocide, yet in a different another side of this is like the UK literally banning Hasan from entering a whole ass country. Why? Because they decided to listen to pro-Israel complainers that Hasan is supposedly anti-Semitic. It is not anti-Semitic to humanize Palestinians. To say, hey, Israel should stop killing Palestinians. And if they don't, well, I'm gonna criticize that. If you're gonna ban someone from a whole ass country, that's fascism. Now, I also wanted to show that this also reflects Nazi Germany. Okay? One of the things that they did was, and this is the Holocaust Encyclopedia by the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, deceiving the public. Okay? The Nazis frequently used propaganda to disguise their political aims and deceive the German and international public. They depicted Germany as the victim of Allied and Jewish aggression to hide their true ideological goals and to justify war and violence against innocent civilians. Sound familiar? How fucking ironic that Israel is doing the exact same thing. And they always bring up the Holocaust to defend their actions, and it just doesn't make sense. It does not connect. It doesn't clock out. So, 1, 2, 3 key facts. Hitler and the Nazi leadership engineered a phony Polish attack on a German radio station to mask and justify their invasion of Poland. 2, to deflect criticism of its actions, Nazi Germany leadership accused the Allies and the Jews of spreading malicious lies and atrocity stories. Nazi propagandists disguised the regime's genocidal policies against Europe's Jews, claiming that the Jewish population was being resettled. All of this Israel is currently doing right now. Now let's look at this through a small comprehensive video about controlling the media from the Nazi Germany perspective. Boop. Let me turn off. Mate. I clicked that 3 times and it didn't stop. That's insane. Let me turn off my musica. So, U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. This is a YouTube video by them. It's called "What Was Nazi Propaganda? Holocaust Explainer."
From their rise to power to the murder of 6 million European Jews in the Holocaust, the Nazis relied on a powerful weapon: propaganda. Propaganda is biased information designed to shape public opinion and behavior. Adolf Hitler and other Nazi leaders were skilled propagandists who used many techniques to spread their messages. The Nazis relied upon propaganda to create a society where only Germans they considered racially pure belonged. Jews and other groups were excluded. After Hitler became chancellor in 1933, the Nazis started to take control of the media. They shut down independent newspapers and seized authority over radio, film, newsreels, theater, and music productions. Soon,
Insane.
the Nazis controlled almost all media accessible to the German population and used this power to spread propaganda in different ways. They utilized symbols, like the swastika, to promote political allegiance, nationalism, and Nazi ideology. Hitler designed the Nazi flag in 1920 and transformed it into the trademark of the Nazi Party. It became a part of everyday life and a potent political tool. They used slogans that simplified their messages to just a few memorable words or phrases, like calling Jews the scourge of humanity, or recruiting children to join the Hitler Youth.
Wow.
The Nazis updated their propaganda strategies to improve effectiveness and appeal to a wider range of people. Beginning in the 1920s,
Oh, my phone died.
radio emerged as a worldwide sensation. For the first time, people could listen to news and entertainment in their homes. The Nazis quickly recognized the power of this new medium. They commissioned a low-cost radio called the People's Receiver, allowing millions more Germans to buy radios and listen from their own homes. Under Nazi rule, all German films would become subject to censorship and control. They produced films to demonize Jews by comparing them to rats and drawing on other negative stereotypes, while also portraying the supposedly ideal pure German. The Nazis used all of these propaganda techniques to exclude, demonize, and isolate Jewish people. They showed the world how dangerous propaganda could be in the hands of experts.
And that's how they did it. I mean, it's pretty amazing because they even controlled musicals, everything that would have the potential of criticizing them. And that's what is happening now. It's very sad. Even the symbolism at this point, Israel keeps demonizing the Star of David, which is sad because, like, before October 7th, you know, I wouldn't be scared by looking at the Star of David. I wouldn't. Now when I see it, I get scared. And that's not the Jewish people's fault. That is Israel's fault and anyone who supports Israel, because they keep throwing that symbol around, a symbol that wasn't meant to promote genocide, by the way. They throw it around to promote genocide. Just like Hitler stole the swastika from what was it? From Buddhist, a Buddhist symbol, right? I'm pretty sure the swastika used to be a version of a Buddhist symbol. Is it called manji? I believe it's called manji in Japanese, at least. I can't remember what the origin of the Nazi of the not the Nazi symbol, but the Buddhist symbol. I believe it was called manji, but I can't remember. They used that. They stole that symbol and used it to justify its genocidal means. And now it's like history is repeating itself to a T. Israel saw that and be like, hey, how can we weaponize the Holocaust so we can create our own Holocaust against Palestinians? And it's working. It's working. It is. Isaiah 36 says, they let murderers and PDF files in, but they will ban someone who says people shouldn't kill children. Not just that, saying that we shouldn't fund this killing of children and other civilians. It's true. It's true. I mean, everyone who was a part of the Epstein files, they still get to travel everywhere they fucking please, except for Ghislaine Maxwell, I suppose. Well, what the fuck? So, lastly, let's look at, I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing, but I wanted to react to the interview. Hasan was interviewed by Democracy Now! Democracy Now! Is a very good source of
This
news.
is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org.
They report on the news around the world. Very good resource. I'm going to try to listen to them every day as much as I can, because they do pretty good summaries of the latest news. And I don't think they've ever interviewed Hasan on their show yet. Maybe they haven't, I haven't realized, but after Hasan was wrongfully banned from the UK, they decided to interview him. This was posted 4 days ago? On June 6th. Yep, 4 days ago. And this is called Hasan Piker on being banned from UK. I don't know. I think it's just one small section. We're just gonna look at the Hasan section. I don't know if he talks throughout this. Oh, he does the entire time. It's true, because he traveled to Cuba and supports candidates that are against Israel. So I really wanted to see what they had to say. And then at least after 20 to 30 minutes, I'll end the stream, okay? How long is this? 18 minutes. Hi, Tama. Hi, Kaizen. How are ya? Oh, hi, Emil. How are ya? Guys, Emil, Kaizen. Hasan is banned from the UK. It's Sally. Hello, Tama. Hope you're doing good. Hi, Sally. How are ya? Thank you for dropping by. I hope you're doing good, too. Let me drink water, actually. You reminded me. I'm like, am I doing good? And then I feel like my throat is super dry. We're currently reflecting and reflecting on Hasan being banned from the UK. How scary that is. That they're banning people who are against genocide from an entire ass country, and what that means for the future. Okay, I am pro-Palestinian, and I'm also not pro-Palestinian, I'm pro-Palestine, my bad, and I'm also anti-genocide. What if I also get banned from other countries? It's terrifying, chat. We're going backwards in time. We literally just watched a comparison of how Nazi Germany was able to deceive the public, especially by disguising their political aims. usually use propaganda. Here, let's see. By also controlling almost all media accessible to the German population. Wow, this is like lagging so bad. Here, let me exit some stuff here. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, the Nazis controlled almost all media. Okay? They would ban Jewish musical classics. They would ban anything in the media that they saw as being pro-Jewish, I guess, that would humanize the Jewish population. And all I could say is like, well, this reflects now. This reflects now. And so to end the stream, I also want to watch Hasan be interviewed by Democracy Now! And it's a really good reflection, as you can see by the title here, of what Hasan has done so far. He traveled to Cuba and is constantly critical of Israel. And now he's banned from the UK. I want to, I want to watch this and react to it. I'm good, thank you for asking. Thank God. Did they specify the reason for his ban? They did online. Damn it, I just exited out, but I'll get the source again. Let's see. Let's look at drop site news. The Oxford Union. Okay. They said, okay, so the UK Home Office revoked both of their travel authorizations, and by both they mean Hasan and his uncle Cenk Uygur, travel authorizations on the grounds that their presence would not be conducive to the public good. Okay? Basically, they're saying that they're a threat to UK society. If we also get CNN, the source by CNN, I read this earlier on stream here. Let's see. They also said, they doubled down, honestly. It was pretty insane what they were saying. Chotomate ne. On the grounds right here. On the grounds that their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good. Such decisions are based solely on an assessment of potential risk an individual may pose to UK society, the Home Office said, adding that individuals may choose to apply for a visa if they still wish to travel to the UK. That's insane to me that they can just claim that someone is a threat to society, remove their visa without telling them until, they tell a bunch of news sources. And they still let war criminals in. They let anyone who was involved in the Epstein files in. They let corrupt officials in. Yet Hasan and his uncle, they are the ones that get banned? Hello? Jesus Christ. Project Kaizen says, I was watching Hasan's reaction to the Mehdi Hasan debate. It was kind of hilarious. Yo, yeah, I was watching that too. What was it? Well, let's chat GPT. I'm a numbers guy. Let's chat GPT it. And it's like, he's always wrong. No, yeah, you guys definitely should watch that debate, by the way. It was pretty funny. Oh, I almost deleted your message, my bad. Project Kaizen says, I'm in the UK. It's a weird space right now. They allowed that racist-ass Islamophobic Mexican woman to come here, but banned Hasan. Jesus Christ. I am so sorry. And Sally says, the world really is going backwards. Oh my god. It's true. It's true. That PBD is a clown. It is. They are a clown. Anyway. Wait, no, not Hitler. Let's watch Hitler again. No, my bad. But yeah, it's getting It's just sad, Chess. It's just sad. Let's watch Hasan be interviewed.
Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Earlier this week, the British government banned the progressive political commentators Hasan Piker and Cenk Uygur from entering the UK. They were scheduled to speak at the South by Southwest London Festival.
They already had things to
Oxford
do,
Union
man.
Society. The UK's Home Office said it was cancelling their travel permits, quote, on the grounds that their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good, unquote. Both Piker and Uygur are outspoken in their criticism of Israel. Recent comments from that have drawn scrutiny include Piker saying that as a, quote, lesser evil voter, he would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time, unquote. The week prior to their ban, British Labour MP David Taylor called for Piker to be barred, saying, quote, it's shocking that South by Southwest would invite someone who's openly supported a proscribed terrorist organization and spouted these kinds of vile anti-Semitic rants to speak at their festival.
Listen here, buddy. Nelson Mandela was considered a terrorist, and the organization he participated in to fight against those in at that time the South African apartheid. Nelson Mandela was considered a terrorist by the US until 2008. I think 4 or 5 years before he fucking died. So a terrorist organization, I consider Hamas a resistance fighters, a resistant organizations, okay? So, again, who is this David Taylor? You're telling me that if someone killed your entire family in front of your eyes, you wouldn't fight back? Because that's kind of fucked up. And that's what Israel has been doing every day till, like, even today. I'm pretty sure a family has died today. A kid has died today. A mother, a child, a grandfather, a grandparent, a father, a mother, a sister, a brother. Someone has died today. I can guarantee you that someone was killed by Israel. That was an innocent civilian today. And whoever loved that civilian, well, they have the choice to join Hamas and defend their people, okay? David Taylor. Fucking hell. Don't worry, my H boys don't care what the West labels them. They are... Is that Chad? Let me see. They're Giga Chads. I see. Sally says, it's ironic how someone's speech or way of speaking is so empowering, the governments are scared of letting them in. Pen is indeed stronger than sword. It's true. It really is. That's how you know that whatever Hasan, well, not whatever, but what Hasan and his uncle Cenk are saying is very important, because it's obviously scaring the shit out of the UK and UK leaders, of Israel leaders as well, that they push for the UK government to just remove the visas of these two. Again, before, like, those who were involved in the Epstein files. What the fuck? Wow.
With the unacceptable rise in anti-Semitism on our streets, leaving British Jews in a constant state of anxiety, Hasan Piker is clearly not conducive to the public good.
Okay, humanizing Palestinians, humanizing those who are suffering from genocide is not anti-Semitic, okay? Get that out of your brain already. It is not anti-Semitic. You know what is anti-Semitic? Is assuming that all Jewish people hate Palestinians and that they all agree that there should be a genocide in Palestine. That is anti-Semitic, okay? Like I said before, earlier in stream, it's like saying all Mexicans do drugs. That's fucking racist. Okay? Hasan humanizing Palestinians, and demonizing the actions of Israel is not anti-Semitic.
He said. Hasan Piker is one of the most prominent online influencers on the left. He has millions of followers and
Why is he
subscribers
twitching?
across social media platforms. He live streams on the gaming platform Twitch for hours every day.
No, yeah, I can tell he's literally
Recently,
twitching.
He's drawn the ire of the Democratic Party leadership for endorsing and campaigning on behalf of progressive candidates in primaries across the country. To talk more about his ban from the UK, his views on Israel, his critique of the Democratic Party, and more, we're joined by Hasan Piker from his home, where he streams in West Hollywood, California. Hasan, welcome to Democracy Now! Can you start
like a
off
diva.
by
Gracias,
responding
gracias.
to this ban on you? And Cenk is your uncle, is that right? Cenk
Yes.
Uygur, on what this means. In fact, you're going to virtually participate in the Oxford debate.
Let me zoom
anyway,
in
right?
on this for y'all guys.
Yeah. I was also supposed to. First of all, thank you for having me. It's a real
Or
honor
maybe
to
it's
be
good.
on the show. I'm basically listening to the show a lot earlier. Than
Real
I
uncle?
normally
Yeah,
would,
that's his uncle.
because I usually do that in my morning routine. So Cenk and I were supposed to participate at the Oxford Union. We were supposed to do different panels at South by Southwest. I was also supposed to have a conversation with Jeremy Corbyn and Zach Polanski, the leader of the Green Party. And I also had another talk set up with former Greek finance minister Yanis Varoufakis.
I'm so late. I did not know Cenk was his uncle. Yes, his uncle. That's why Hasan was in the Young Turks, because Cenk was the one that organized that, right? So he offered Hasan a job there, and that's why Hasan used to be part of the Young Turks. What? It's true. Poggies.
And then Cenk was supposed to travel to the UK with his family, and he was stopped at the airport, and he found out that his visa had been rescinded and that he could not get on the plane. So I ended up checking my visa as well and found out that my visa was also revoked.
That's crazy, man.
Now, I find what the British government did here to be objectionable. I find it to be disgusting. I also find it to be terrifying. I think it's a terrifying prospect for the future of Western liberal democracies. The fact that a country that has in the past harbored much more radical thinkers than myself to completely drop all pretext that they care about free expression instead of protecting it is, I think, a sign of the times. I think it's a sign that we're moving down we're headed down a very different, dare I say, fascist direction in the Western world.
Yeah,
And
fascism is back, man.
Happening, Hasan, under a Labour government in Britain, especially given Britain's particular role when it comes to Israel and Palestine being the primary imperial power that allowed the creation or promoted the development of the state of Israel.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a lot of culpability. That extends far beyond the Balfour Declaration, and the British government has been coordinating with the Israeli
that's true,
government.
chat.
The Royal Air Force has been conducting surveillance missions, flying off of their Cyprus base.
You guys remember, like, when we were studying, reflecting on the Nakba and how it all started. Basically, it's the UK's fault that Israel came into power and stole land from Palestine, and they ruined everything, bruh. That's crazy. Like, people just forget that, but it makes sense. It makes sense that the UK would prioritize Israel because they themselves... Oh my God, what am I doing? They themselves created Israel. Shit. He should have name dropped Valentina Gomez. The UK allowed her to come here and join the hate marches spouting her BS. Maybe he has, but Hasan literally has so many haters, and there's just so many shitty people that it's hard to keep track of.
Visited this base and has openly admitted that he could never say in broad daylight what the Royal Air Force is doing there. Starmer has also invited Isaac Herzog, who has been mentioned in the ICC and the ICJ court cases against both Israel and Israeli officials, like former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and current Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So the fact that England extends a red carpet to war criminals and collaborators of war criminals
literally, man,
played a role in the genocide of the Palestinians. But
Netanyahu, really?
Critics of Israel are considered to be real threats, significant threats to public safety, is preposterous. But once again, I think this is a real warning. Just as the prescription of Palestine action and the mass arrests that have taken place of pensioners in the UK that have demonstrated in support of Palestine action was a very clear attempt by the British government to do the exact opposite of the democratic process, to refuse to listen to the very just and moral demands of the masses and instead suppress their voices.
Yeah,
and
suppress
try
their
to
voices.
silence them through state repression is very clear that there's a terrifying direction that the UK is headed down.
No, and it's true because we've seen the UK police as well as the American ones, of course, but right now we're talking about the UK, okay? We've seen the UK police beat the shit out of protesters, jail them. We've seen the UK police actually revoke the licensing of a doctor to be able to work as a doctor simply because she was pro-Palestine. I forgot her name, but I'm going to safely assume some of y'all know who I'm talking about. I think for the longest time, there was like over 5 pro-Palestinian protesters that were in jail for over a year without due process and without being charged anything, who had to starve themselves until they were about to fucking die to get out. Okay, get out of prison. This was coming, of course. You know, them going far enough to just remove a visa from someone who was going to speak on prestigious events. It is scary. It is scary. We cannot be surprised because of what has been done to innocent civilians who are protesting the genocide in Palestine, but fucking hell. Like, how we're seeing how far they're willing to go. Oh my god. I have to press on the... There we go. It's lagging, of course. Gracias.
And yes, it is the Labor government's complicity both in the crimes that Israel has committed, but it's also the Labor government's complicity in the acceleration towards fascism. Because the next government that comes in, if it's, God forbid, a reform government, a far-right authoritarian government, they're going to overtake this exact same process. And they might not have even the restrictions that the Labor government is applying currently.
That's what happened to the U.S.
The keys of the castle in this manner is complicity. It's something that we've seen. It's appeasement. It's something that we've seen throughout history in the past, where liberals assume that they could overtake the reactionary demands coming from the right in an effort to keep control, and they ultimately fail to the fascists.
I wanted to ask you also about another international issue which you've been involved with, controversy lately. You went to Cuba in March with the
Yeah.
Nuestra America convoy, which brought activists from 33 countries and medicines and supplies to Cuba to attempt to break this economic blockade and warfare that the United States has been involved in against Cuba. But last week it was reported that the Treasury Department sent you and Medea
A
Benjamin, founder of Cold Pink,
subpoena.
who helped organize the convoy, a request for information from the Office of Foreign
That's
Assets
true.
Control to look at the possible violations.
No, they're really after Hasan. Like before he got banned by the UK, the fucking US tried to subpoena him. That's crazy. I don't know if like officially nothing really came out. It was just rumors, but shit. You know, it was rumors based off what politicians were fucking saying that Fox News heard. But even other news sources reported on it. They're after Hasan. That's crazy.
What's your response to this inquiry?
Yeah, so I've yet to receive a subpoena, even though Fox News claimed I received one. I have not. But I think that the news article itself was symbolic. I assume that this is less of a real inquiry and more so an opportunity for the American government to try to silence political dissent and to also criminalize activism. We were there to support the Cuban population with humanitarian aid that was necessary.
And we all saw that.
And I also separately got a journalism visa as well to cover the atrocities that were taking place on the ground and to try to figure out what our government's culpability was in the economic devastation that Cubans were facing. And I mean, it was horrifying. You guys have covered this stuff extensively, but it's very clear that the Trump administration is not making it a secret that they want to prosecute all manner of political dissent, whether it be the counterterrorism initiatives implemented by Sebastian Gorka or even now lawfare by way of the Treasury Department. I think the goal here is to, once again, just like the British government, silence dissent and
scare them,
ultimately criminalize it. Hopefully this won't be a precedent-setting case, but we are headed down a scary path here.
Hasan, I wanted to play a clip of a short documentary about your trip to Cuba.
For years, I've wanted to visit Cuba. I wanted to learn about the problems caused by the embargo. I wanted to see a socialist society in person. Last month, I took the opportunity to go as a part of a humanitarian mission to bring aid that my government won't. I'd be accompanying Progressive International alongside hundreds of others from around the world. Activists, journalists, artists, and politicians will be coming to the island by boat and plane to deliver over 40 tons of necessary supplies, food, medicine, and medical equipment.
All right, we're in the heart of Havana right now. One of the things that I've immediately been hit with is how beautiful the city is, but also how hollowed out it is in many ways. It looks like, I mean, some of these houses, they have the skeleton, they have the outside, but inside it looks like it's bombed out. You know, there's people living in it, but like very clearly, this is in a dire state of disrepair.
And more indictments have been brought in this last day against Cuban leaders. Hasan Piker, did you actually deliver medical supplies? How successful were you?
Yes. So the humanitarian aid mission was accompanied by hundreds of other activists as well. It wasn't just medical supplies. There was, I believe, food as well. The delivery was successful, but ultimately it's a drop in the bucket. And what the Cuban population actually needs right now is oil. Because oil is what runs their entire energy grid. And unfortunately, the Trump administration has very openly created a blockade, and the island's energy grid is currently still suffering. Now, there's also one aspect to this that I think adds insult to injury, and that's the reality that there is actually parts of the Cuban island that are receiving oil with regular frequency, and that is, of course, Guantanamo Bay. That's an American military base on the island of Cuba, and it's basically an old colonial outpost.
What the fuck?
And so you have the situation where 90 miles off of our coastline, You have 9 million or so people suffering. There's food shortages. People can't deliver medicine all around the island because there's simply no oil. And medicine is also spoiling as well. They're just sitting in factories.
They're sending oil to
no
facilities that torture prisoners, by the way.
A couple miles away from Havana, you have Guantanamo Bay, where they have a McDonald's. And they have American military members stationed there. And they have energy for the entire
soldiers,
island,
bro.
potentially. I think this really shows the inhumanity and the juxtaposition. I feel like it's something that many Americans are completely oblivious to. If they were more aware of the crisis, that they would also
the Guantanamo Bay thing. I didn't know. Chad, did you?
Unconscionable. And I suspect that's part of the reason why the federal government wants to stop these kinds of actions, or at least create an environment of threats and pressure so that other people who could also freely travel to Cuba and see what's going on for themselves, and maybe even deliver humanitarian aid themselves, think twice before they participate in something like this. I myself am unbowed, and I hope others will be too.
Hasan Piker, at the 2024 DNC in Chicago, 30 delegates to the convention were with the National Uncommitted Movement. Uncommitted delegates were selected in state Democratic primaries to call for an end to the Biden administration's backing of Israel's assault on Gaza. After the DNC denied their request for a Palestinian-American speaker on stage, uncommitted delegates and their allies staged a sit-in outside the convention.
Wow.
This is a clip of the co-founder of the Uncommitted Movement, Abbas.
That was a while ago. Shit.
Here is the scandal, my friends. Here is the scandal. The scandal is that there are forces within Democratic Party leadership who do not want us to talk about Palestinian human rights. But that's not sustainable. This is a watershed moment.
So this was a watershed moment. You actually were inside the DNC for a while.
So let me explain this, actually. So when Kamala wanted to be president, right? And there was this huge event where all politicians participate, and it's usually before the presidential election would happen. And it's like one of the... It's like, what can I say? It's a way to convince people to vote for them, I suppose, while having every politician and political commentator participate in this. Now, Kamala refused to have a Palestinian speaker to represent her. Joe Biden refused to humanize Palestinians, refused to stop funding Israel and committing genocide, doubled down, kept funding Israel, doubled down, allowed American forces, police forces, and much more to attack protesters, allowed ICE to kidnap protesters in the US who are pro-Palestinian. And then Kamala comes in, she makes fun of these Palestinian and pro-Palestine protesters. And to top it off, she refuses to have a Palestinian speak up for her. Like, that's insane. It was really offensive. So a bunch of people outside of this event were protesting that. Like, people were hoping that she would, not continue Joe Biden's genocidal beliefs, but she did. Including, funding ICE and all that shit. It was pretty fucked up. I know a little bit. They torture people there, but Abu Ghraib was worse. Rashida Tlaib? I don't know if she was there. I don't think so. I don't think she was there. If she was, I don't think she was, would speak for Kamala. I don't think so. Oh, I stopped at a very bad place. Sorry Sorry, girl.
Before they put you out, you had a select seat there as a commentator. But can you talk about the fact, I put this question also to Dr. Hamawi, who you campaigned with, along with Dr. El Sayed. You campaigned with him also for his senatorial race. Can you talk about the autopsy report and it not talking about Israel and Gaza, though the issue took center stage at the DNC with the sit-in with people who are quite involved with the Democratic National Committee?
Yeah, I think to myself all the time, whether this is a byproduct of incompetence or if they are totally aware that this is a major crisis, a major issue, and
they are aware,
trying to avoid having a conversation about it. I also had interviewed the uncommitted movement outside, and I had my press credentials revoked in real time while I was live broadcasting at the DNC, while simultaneously being interviewed by a New York Times reporter, as a matter of fact, for my
I remember that.
of the DNC. I was invited, but then I was, I guess, disinvited.
They kicked them out
for these exact warnings that I was issuing to as many Democrats as I possibly could. It turned out those warnings were true. And yet the Democratic Party still has not learned a very important lesson and still seemingly chooses not to listen to the demands of the masses. A similar pattern arises here that we just talked about with the United Kingdom. I feel like there's a real crisis in democracy and illiberalism in the Western world because of our complicity with war crimes and our complicity in Israel's genocide. And instead of addressing these problems, instead of solving these issues, instead of leaning into the demands of the overwhelming majority of the masses, the American government and the Democratic Party, just like the Labor Party, which is supposed to be the left representation of politics in both these countries, has decided to suppress the needs of the masses, have decided to avoid having these conversations. Having said that, however, there is an opportunity here, as Adam Hamawi, Chris Robb in Philadelphia, and numerous insurgent candidates that are popping up all around the country in the primary system, and actually successfully defeating the establishment Democrats all around the country.
Yeah, like even Mamdani. That's the thing. I think these new candidates who I hope they actually care for the things that they talk about. But we learned, at least in American society, what happens when you continue to refuse to listen to the people of America who aren't suffering, the people of America who oppose genocide, and the people of America who suffer from ICE, from police brutality, ICE brutality, and other organizations that discriminate against minorities. Now, one thing that Mamdani did very well is that he knew how to speak to the people. And he won. And so after that, Hasan kind of continued to show potential candidates, political candidates, show them on their stream, introduce them to his viewers and potentially other non-viewers. Not everyone who watches Twitch or YouTube, or actually not everyone who hears about candidates watch Hasan, YouTube or Twitch or whatever. It's just to boost their visibility online. And Hasan is just someone who interviews these people and boosts their visibility. That's all it is. Which is very important because we saw how bad the Joe Biden and Kamala campaign was. It was pretty terrible. Like, I had so much hatred for the Democratic Party. I still do, by the way. I'm so angry, chat. I'm so angry that they decided to be pro-genocide, and also to top it off, be pro-ICE. Be pro-ICE. Be pro-detention centers. Be pro-wall. Like, what? Sounding like fucking Trump. It was an eye-opener for me. Like, I knew they always hated me, but it confirmed it. Like, I never trusted this party, but I got the confirmation when they finally showed their true colors and said, "Let's build the wall. I can build a better wall than Trump." That's what they were saying with their actions. So it's very important now for the people to speak up and to retaliate. To retaliate against the government that refuses to listen to the people's needs. Kamala isn't an Epstein file, right? I don't think so. I mean, no. That's like the only thing that the Democrats have is like, oh my god, Joe Biden and Kamala isn't in the Epstein files. Okay, so they funded a genocide. Okay, well, that doesn't make them any better. They funded killing children. Basically the same thing as anyone who was in the Epstein files. Like, come on.
Have created this unavoidable force. This that will hopefully present a very good change within the party. And it's not just, of course, about Israel either. It's about these issues broadly. I feel like the center of power in the Democratic Party for far too long has conceded to the interests of profits, to the interests of corporations, and oftentimes place them first and place the interests of the population, the people, the masses, the working class last. Hopefully we can make a change, and we can force that change, because I feel as though the party right now needs fighters. We don't have a lot of time. Fascism is here, and someone has to fight back. And the way to do that is through the democratic process and allowing real democracy to take place.
Hasan Piker, we want to thank you for being with us, political commentator and live streamer on the Twitch platform. That does it for our show. I'll be in Tampa, Florida tonight. We'll be celebrating WMNF Community Radio at 2 screenings of the film Steal the Story, Please, about the history of Democracy Now! And the importance of independent media at the Sunray Cinema. You can check our website at democracynow.org, and then at the O Cinema in Miami, Saturday and Sunday for 3 screenings. And of course, there'll be screening beyond that. I'll be with the director, Tia Lesson. That does it for our show. Next week in Sheffield in England, and then in Belfast in Ireland.
Oh, wow, they're busy.
Swing through Vermont. Check our website. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, Michael Jackson just appears. No, but Democracy Now! Is a very good source of independent media. I need to get into the habit of just listening to at least they do really good summaries of everyday news, so you can stay up to date with whatever is happening. And especially since I've been super busy with work, Jesus Christ, chat, I can't catch a break, and I'm always tired. I need to, get on my toes. Ponerme las pilas, like get to it already, and continue to be actively informed. But thank you for joining me and reflecting on why Hasan was banned from the UK and how dangerous that is, how scary it is. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. With the UK banning Hasan Piker and Cenk Uygur, One can only wonder if other countries will follow suit in banning free speech that criticizes Israel. Is this the start of persecution of anti-genocide protesters? And I don't even know why I said start. That has already started from the get-go. But is this the start of banning anti-genocide protesters from different countries? We live in scary times, chat. But, like it was earlier said, this also shows you and me how important it is to speak out. Clearly, the government finds what Hasan and Cenk are saying very threatening. You know, being anti-Palestine, humanizing people is threatening to the government. And we cannot allow for humanity to be silenced, especially those who are currently suffering. So we're at a time where speaking out and fighting back is at its peak. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm very sleepy. I'm stuttering. Shit, we're at scary times, chat, and yeah, we gotta continue to speak out. We gotta force these people to hear us. Whether they ban Hasan or not, we cannot let them get away with that shit, you know? And I felt like this was important to talk about because, you know, it could be me. It could be you. And that was today's segment of TamaTalks. Thank you for joining in. Thank you to all the lurkers, to all the chatters and all the viewers, to all the YouTubers, to anyone who's watching this right now. Gracias, gracias. I have to go to sleep now because it's almost 2 a.m. in Japan. Oh my god. MJ, yeah, it's Michael Jackson. I have to go now though. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys on Thursday for TamaTalks Thursdays. The topic is to be announced. TBA. I still don't have a topic. I might talk about Iran, or I might talk about prominent speakers, revolutionary speakers. I've been wanting to learn more about Malcolm X, and also, well, I really want to reflect on Malcolm X's speeches, at least one of his speeches. I feel like he speaks so beautifully. I love hearing like random speeches of his. Or I might also talk about Iran. There's been more developments, and it seems like it's the same thing at this point. Israel attacks, Iran retaliates, they want a ceasefire. Iran tries to do a ceasefire, but of course Israel keeps breaking the ceasefire. Iran retaliates, and it's a cycle and a cycle and a cycle. I think as of yesterday though, or 2 days ago at least, the US kind of told Israel to not fight back, to just take the hits from Iran because they really need a ceasefire right now. And that was symbolically, that is very important. It basically acknowledges that the US is losing the war, so is Israel, and the US is desperately wanting a ceasefire. But of course, Israel didn't listen, so we'll see what happens after. God, I just want it to end, but we'll see what happens, guys. Anyway, good night. See you guys on Thursday. Bye-bye.
してるから今